The three immortal men of the Bible. Discover their incredible stories. Every page of the Bible reveals stories of courage, faith, and miracles. But some are truly exceptional. In this article, we will explore the stories of the three immortal men of the Bible. The impactful story of Enoch, a man who walked with God and was taken directly to heaven. The impressive journey of the prophet Elijah, who left earth in a chariot of fire. And the enigmatic figure of Melchizedek, the priest who transcended the boundaries of time. Man 1, Enoch. Walking with God and taken to heaven. The story of Enoch is one of the most surprising accounts in the Bible. He lived during a time of great challenges and corruption, yet he stood out for his close communion with God. Enoch was known for walking with God in righteousness and integrity, and this closeness resulted in an extraordinary journey. He lived for about 365 years. While many men of his time lived long lives, the Bible tells us that Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Genesis 5 verse 24. This enigmatic event reveals that Enoch was taken up and directly transported to heaven without experiencing death. Although his story in the Bible is brief, it teaches us the importance of intimacy with God and the impact it can have on our journey of faith. Enoch is remembered as a man who lived in communion with the Creator, and his example inspires us to seek a life of closeness with the Lord. Man 2, Elijah. The prophet of fire. Elijah was one of the most powerful prophets of the Old Testament. His story is filled with miracles and divine interventions that demonstrate the strength of his faith and dedication to the God of Israel. He was sent by God to prophesy a great drought over the land of Israel as a consequence of the sins of King Ahab and Queen Jezebel, who led the people to worship idols. During this period, Elijah had to hide by the brook Cherith and was miraculously fed by ravens that brought him bread and meat in the morning and evening. Another remarkable miracle happened in Zarephath, where a widow was about to prepare her last meal with the little flour and oil she had left. Elijah asked her to prepare something for him first, and in response to her generosity, God blessed the flour and oil so they never ran out. Elijah also confronted the 450 prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel, challenging them to prove who the true God was. After the prophets cried out in vain, Elijah prayed, and fire came down from heaven, consuming the sacrifice and proving the sovereignty of the God of Israel. After the confrontation, Elijah received threats from Jezebel and fled into the wilderness. There, God revealed himself to him in a still small voice, reaffirming his purpose. At the end of his ministry, Elijah was taken up to heaven in a chariot of fire, leaving his mantle to Elisha, his successor. Elijah's story teaches us about faith, obedience, and God's provision in difficult times. Man 3, Melchizedek. The man who prefigures Jesus Christ. Melchizedek is an enigmatic figure mentioned in the Bible, known for blessing Abraham after his victory over enemy kings. He brought bread and wine and acknowledged God's blessing upon Abraham. Interestingly, Melchizedek was the first person in the Bible to be called a priest. By blessing Abraham, he performed the primary traditional function of priests. During this encounter, the first recorded instance of tithing occurred, as Abraham gave Melchizedek a tenth of everything. An intriguing aspect is that Melchizedek is described as without father, without mother, without genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like the Son of God. Hebrews 7 verse 3. This description leads many to see him as a figure who prefigures Jesus Christ. Christ's priesthood is not based on the Levitical lineage but on the order of Melchizedek, being an eternal and sovereign priesthood. Melchizedek's story leads us to reflect on eternity.